welcome back to Peanut Garage. As you can see behind me, it's an old rusted out HQ ute. This is going to be my next big build. A couple of people know what's going on with this. The boys at On Song, I've talked to them about this. A couple of mates of mine, they're quite keen to give me a hand in setting this up. The plan is to take a VE rear cradle diff and basically make some stands and put it in the back of this thing, put some big wide wheels on it, some 18 by 11s with some 295 rubber, and putting a VY K-frame and McPherson front end in this vehicle, as that was never designed for it. It's going to be a lot of measurement, a lot of nutting out, a lot of fab work, which we're going to try and document as much as possible for this. So yeah, and we've also got a LQ9 6 litre coming for it from the States. That should be landing in November. Currently it's the 18th of October, so it should be here in a couple of weeks, and that's going to have twin 67s and a manual gearbox behind it. Anyway, that's a quick rundown on it. Let's have a look at this rusted out piece of junk. Alright, I had a couple of these panels lying around, picked up some guards from a mate. They're quite rusted out, but it's only for mock-up stage and to see where we can fit this McPherson front end in. So basically we're going to chop all the wishbone stuff off, take the wishbones off, all the brakes, everything. Chop off all your lower control arm brackets. We're going to brace up the front of the chassis, chop that off and set it up with a bash bar for drifting, and have it poking out the single headlight nose cone. I am planning on running a rear mount radiator and just having the intercooler up front to keep some weight off the nose. Yeah, basically we're going to seal up the firewall, weld it all flat. I'm hoping to put floor mount pedals in it, or at least something hidden and not much on the actual firewall itself. I have done some measurements for this. It looks like it's going to be, the K-frame itself is going to line up relatively easy with the chassis rails, and yeah, we'll come across that bridge as we come to it. It's quite a fair way off yet. We've got to get it in the shed, get majority of the sheet metal cut out that I want to get cut out. Like the floor is pretty much Swiss cheese. It is terrible. There's an old stereo in it and not much else. I have been pulling little bits and pieces out, or all the original wiring and junk just been cut out, and pretty much the tray is completely rusted. There's not much saving this shell. It's pretty much a perfect donor for what I have planned. Yeah, so basically we're going to retain the tailgate, the steel tailgate. We're just going to gut it, take all the pins out, and we'll either Zeus it on or use some of those quick latches. But yeah, it's got the standard springs, and it looks like a 10 bolt under the back of it, and they'll be coming out as soon as we can get it into the shed. At the moment we have quite a few cars in there. I've just got to find some place where I can store them and out of the weather. They're just a bit too nice to leave out in the weather for a couple of months. I have done some measurements for the rear. I am going to have to flare the rear guards about 10 mils aside. We'll probably go 15 just for extra clearance, but we will have about 335 millimeters of clearance to the actual chassis rail once all the steel has been cut out, and that should give us enough room for movement, for travel for the rear. I am going to run my favourite Aussie brand of coilovers. Hopefully I can talk to them and see if I can get them to come on board with this build. but we shall see. I'm going to run them either way. I had been at the shop for a couple of hours. Afternoon before, boys gave me a call saying there was a couple of issues with the car. The original thermo fans that I had in there decided to disintegrate, so I had a spare set sitting there, so I ripped down in the morning, and we changed them out. Also, I might add here is they don't usually allow customers to come work on their own vehicles. I just know the guys, so they let me in. Yeah, it doesn't usually happen. So thanks to the boys for letting that happen. It was at the top end not producing the PSI that we thought the pulley should be doing. The smaller pulley should be doing about 13 to 14 PSI. We were only getting about 6 or 7. So we thought it might have been belt slip. So we changed to the biggest pulley I had, which should have been 6 to 7 PSI at the top end. Yeah, unfortunately that wasn't the case. We're only seeing about 3 PSI that you'll see here. We spent quite a bit of time mucking around. We changed back to the bigger pulley and did a couple of power runs. We ended up with about 355 at the wheels, and we called it a day. We just couldn't seem to find the issue that was going on at all until I got it back to the shop. Next day, my shop I should say, after looking over the car, I actually did find the issue. As you can see on the screen, the blower housing actually come loose, and it was floating and allowing a massive boost leak. That's why we weren't seeing the boost.
3 psi there, so it's not what it should be. Yeah, not even close.
Alright, that's that. Alright, that's it for this episode of Peanut Garage. After talking to the guys at Onsong, I was originally told that the engine had a cam in it. It didn't. So there was also a crack in the sump of the motor. So I'm pulling the engine out in a later episode, and they're going to put a new cam in it, new lifters, valve springs, timing chain, new buckets, and a couple other good things, new gaskets, and just give it a once over for me. We'll chuck it back in the car, and then we'll get it off to them to finish the tune. Big thanks to them. I'll put a link in the description. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comments, and subscribe. Cheers. Bye.